3 equipment mismatches. Each one quietly costs you around 10 yards. Together, they explain the 30 yards you thought you lost to age, and none of them require you to swing any harder. Last season, a 62-year-old golfer sat in a fitting bay and walked out 28 yards longer without changing a single movement in his swing. The clubs were different. The ball was different. The results on the launch monitor told a story that the industry has spent decades obscuring. You were never losing distance to the calendar. You were losing it to the equipment you were sold. The demo driver he handed back had a 9-degree loft, a heavy stiff shaft, and a tour-level ball that had been sitting in his bag since a pro shop pushed it on him 3 years ago. None of it matched a swing speed under 80 miles per hour. Yet every piece of that setup is called premium. And premium, it turns out, is where the quiet theft happens. Here's the part nobody at the counter explains. Your driver, your shaft, and your ball are not neutral tools. They are engineered for a specific swing speed, and when your swing doesn't fit that engineering, each piece fights you. Combined, they are the reason your drives land shorter, your confidence dips, and your wallet opens for the next gadget promising the distance you used to have. Let's talk about what actually happened in that fitting bay, because the numbers tell a story that feels almost too convenient to be true. That golfer did not gain 28 yards through hard work. He gained it through subtraction. He removed the mismatches, and what remained was the speed he already owned, finally allowed to show up on the course. The first fix was the loft. His driver was 9 degrees, built for a player swinging well over 100 miles per hour. At his speed, the launch angle was too low, the spin was too low, and the ball was dying out of the air. A 12-degree head changed everything. Higher launch, more carry, and roughly a dozen extra yards that had been sitting in the club head all along. The second fix was the shaft. His weighed 65 grams, stiff flex, designed to control a violent transition he hasn't had in 20 years. A lighter shaft, around 45 grams, let him feel the club head again. It added speed he didn't know he had, because his body was never the bottleneck. The heavy shaft was. The third fix was the ball. He was playing a premium tour ball that demands over 100 miles per hour of club speed to compress properly. At 78 miles per hour, that ball feels like a rock. A lower compression ball flies higher, spins less, and carries further for a swing that can't deliver the violence those tour balls were built for. That golfer gained 28 yards by spending less, not more, and the financial angle only gets worse from here. Subscribe so you don't miss the next equipment trap we expose. In the comments, write Dead Money. What you just heard is the surface. The Dead Money Golf ebook goes 7 levels deeper. Every mechanism, every markup, every number fully sourced. 120 pages of what we can't post here. Plus the Vault. 5 private video investigations that exist nowhere else. Link in the description and pinned comment. Now, here's where the financial angle starts to sting. The tour ball costs nearly $50 a dozen. The low compression ball he switched to costs around $32. The shaft he needed retails for under $100, not the $300 he was quoted for the stiff model. And the loft adjustment was free. The equipment that actually fixes the problem is cheaper than the equipment that caused it. So why did he spend years overpaying for the wrong setup? Because nobody told him the truth. The industry wants you to believe distance is about aggressive products, new technology, and the next premium release. But the data, the same data they use to sell you those products, actually points in the opposite direction. Fitting the equipment to your real speed is the single highest leverage financial and performance move a senior golfer can make. Let's get specific about the driver speed, because this is where the denial usually kicks in. TrackMan data from over 54,000 drives shows that male golfers in their 60s average about 78 miles per hour of club speed. Not 90, not 85, 78. And at that speed, a 9-degree driver is working against you from the moment the ball leaves the tee. Consider the math. For every 1 mile per hour of club speed you change, your distance changes by roughly 2.84 yards. That's not a guess. That's the relationship the USGA's own data has confirmed. So if a lighter shaft adds 3 miles per hour to your swing, that's about 8.5 yards. If the loft and ball add another dozen on top of that, you've found your 30 yards. This is the part that feels like a secret. The people who track this data know exactly how much of your distance is recoverable. They know it's not muscle loss. They know it's not age. They know it's a combination of reduced rotation, early wrist release, and stiffness, all of which can be partially addressed. But the equipment mismatch compounds every other limitation you have. Here's what the evidence shows when you look at the launch monitor numbers side by side. A senior golfer with a 78 mile per hour swing, playing a 9-degree driver, a 65-gram stiff shaft, and a premium tour ball will carry the ball roughly 180 yards. The same golfer, same swing, with 12 degrees of loft, a 45-gram regular shaft, and a low compression ball, carries roughly 210 yards. That 30 yards is the gap you've been mourning, and it was never in your body. It was in the bag. The deeper you go into the fee structure of this industry, the clearer the pattern becomes. Every premium product you were told you needed has a markup designed to exploit your fear of losing distance. The tour ball costs twice what you need. The stiff shaft costs 3 times what you need. The low loft driver, the one the pros play, is priced as the flagship, while the higher loft version, the one that actually helps you, sits on the rack discounted. The 30 yards you thought were gone forever were never in your body. They were trapped in the wrong loft, the wrong shaft, and a ball that was fighting you on every swing. Subscribe to uncover every equipment lie you've been paying for, so the next time you walk into a shop, you're not the one being sold. In the comments, type dead money. What you just heard is the surface. The Dead Money Golf ebook goes 7 levels deeper. Every mechanism, every markup, every number fully sourced. 120 pages of what we can't post here. Plus, the vault. 5 private video investigations that exist nowhere else. Link in the description and pinned comment. Consider what the industry knows about your psychology. You watch a professional hit a 9-degree driver 320 yards and you buy that driver expecting a piece of that performance. But the professional swings 120 miles per hour. You swing 78. You are not buying the same product they are. You are buying a product that was never designed for your swing, and you're paying a premium for the privilege. This is the contradiction at the heart of every pro shop. The equipment that promises distance is the equipment that steals it, and the equipment that delivers distance is the equipment the industry treats as an afterthought. The high loft head, the light shaft, the soft ball. These are the tools that actually work for you, and they are cheaper, less glamorous, and rarely the first thing a salesperson reaches for. Let's be honest about the moment this becomes personal. If you've ever stood in a fitting bay, credit card already out, watching the launch monitor show numbers that didn't match the ones on the price tag, you know that quiet, hollow feeling when you realize the hope wore off before the first swing outside. That's not a failure of your knowledge. That's a system working exactly as designed. The system is not your enemy because it wants you to lose distance. It's your enemy because it profits from your confusion. Every year you believe the problem is in your swing, you buy another lesson, another training aid, another premium club, and none of them address the 3 mismatches that are costing you the distance you already have. Here's the truth that ties all of this together. The $500 you spent on a new driver last spring, the one with the low loft and the stiff shaft, did not add distance. It locked you into the wrong spec. And every round you played with it, you reinforced the belief that age was beating you, when in fact the equipment was. So let's walk through the 3 fixes in detail, because each one is a direct counter to the mismatches. And each one has a financial angle that makes the decision easier than you think. The first fix is loft, and it is free. If you own a driver with adjustable loft, you can move it to 12 or 13 degrees in your garage right now. If you own a fixed driver, a trip to a competent fitter to swap the head or a used market search for a high loft model costs less than the premium you overpaid for the wrong one. The data is unambiguous. At 78 miles per hour, 12 degrees of loft launches the ball higher, carries further, and lands softer. The second fix is shaft weight, and it costs around $80. A 45-gram regular flex shaft will feel like a different club. It will let you feel the head through the swing, add speed you didn't know you had, and reduce the early release that hack motion data identifies as a common distance killer. The heavy shaft you've been swinging is fighting your body's natural timing. The light shaft works with it. The third fix is the ball, and it costs $32 a dozen instead of $50. A low compression ball, like the ones designed for moderate swing speeds, will fly further at your speed because it actually compresses on impact. The premium tour ball feels like a rock at 78 miles per hour. It doesn't deform enough, it doesn't launch high enough, and it costs you carry yards on every single drive. Now, the beautiful part. You don't have to change your swing at all. You don't have to stretch more, rotate more, or swing harder. You just have to stop fighting your own equipment. And when you do, the distance you thought you lost to age comes back, in some cases almost immediately. There was a moment in that fitting bay when the golfer I mentioned first looked at the launch monitor after the changes. 212 yards, with a gentle smile spreading across his face. He hadn't done anything athletic. He had simply been handed the right tools for the man he is now, not the man he was 30 years ago. That's the forgotten principle. The golf industry sells you the equipment of your youth when what you need is the equipment of your present. And the difference between those two setups is not just distance, it's dollars. Thousands of dollars spent on the wrong specs, the wrong balls, the wrong upgrades, all of it quietly draining your wallet while you blame your age. The industry banked on you, never realizing the gear in your bag was calibrated for a version of yourself that no longer exists. Subscribe now, because the next time we expose a quiet drain on your game, you'll want to be the one who saw it coming before your playing partners did. In the comments, write dead money. What you just heard is the surface. The Dead Money Golf ebook goes 7 levels deeper. Every mechanism, every markup, every number fully sourced. 120 pages of what we can't post here. Plus, The Vault, 5 private video investigations that exist nowhere else. Link in the description and pinned comment. You were set up to believe this was inevitable. You were told that losing distance is part of getting older and that the only answer is to buy more. But the evidence, the same evidence the industry uses to market to you, says the opposite. Your swing speed is lower, yes. But the equipment can be adjusted to match that speed, and when it is, the performance comes back. Remember the 3 mismatches. Low loft, heavy shaft, high compression ball. Each one costs you about 10 yards. Fix all 3, and you find the 30 you thought was gone forever. And the cost of the fix, if you do it smartly, is less than the cost of the mistake you're currently carrying in your bag. So the question is not whether you can get your distance back. The question is whether you'll keep paying for the wrong answer. The premium tour ball, the stiff shaft, the low loft driver. They look the part, they feel the part in the store. But on the course, at your speed, they are working against you. The next time you're standing on the tee, watching your playing partner outdrive you by 30 yards, ask yourself one question. Is he swinging faster than you, or is he just swinging equipment that matches his speed? Because if the answer is the second one, and it often is, then the distance gap is not a physical difference. It's an information difference, and information, unlike age, is something you can fix today. How many of these 3 mismatches do you think you have in your bag right now? Drop the number in the comments. If you said 3, you're closer than most. And if you said 0, think again, because the data suggests almost every senior golfer is carrying at least one piece of equipment that's stealing distance. The light shaft, the high loft, the soft ball, these are not secret weapons. They are basic fitting principles that the industry conveniently forgets to mention when you're standing at the counter with your card out. They are the fix that works, not because they promise distance, but because they stop stealing it. So, before your next round, before your next online order, before your next pro shop impulse, check what's actually in your hands. The 30 yards you lost might not be lost at all. They might just be waiting for the right equipment to let them show up. And the good news, the part that makes this all worthwhile, is that the right equipment costs less than what you already paid for the wrong equipment. You didn't lose your distance to age, you lost it to a mismatch. And mismatches, unlike age, can be corrected. The question is whether you'll believe the data over the marketing, and the data has never been clearer on this one.